It is debate night for the Democrats, and for the first time, we're going to see Senator Warren face off with Joe Biden. They will be standing next to each other, and they could clash on all kinds of issues. Remember, they have a history that goes back before Warren even joined the U.S. Senate.
A woman who borrowed $2,200, the credit she paid back $2,100 over the 2 years preceding bankruptcy, and at the end of that period of time, she was told she still owed $2,600. They have squeezed enough out of these families in interest and fees and payments that never
we should
take
talk
down.
about usury rates then. Maybe that's what we should be talking about, not bankruptcy.
I'll be the first. Invite me.
No, I know you will, but let's call a spade a spade.
But, Senator, if you're not going to fix that problem, you can't take away the last shred of protection for these families.
Okay. You're very good, Professor.
Context there is a compliment from a senator from Delaware at the time, representing the banking interests that Senator Warren was pushing to reform, and that she ultimately gave a harder time when she got into the Senate. Now, that is policy. We've also seen the division in the campaigning.
Look at the business model of an insurance company. It's to bring in as many dollars as they can in premiums and to pay out as few dollars as possible for your health care. Medicare for All solves that problem.
The fact of the matter is that the quickest, fastest way to do it is build on Obamacare, to build on what we did. Everyone, whether they have private insurance, employer insurance, or no insurance, they, in fact, could buy in the exchange to a Medicare-like plan.
Joining me now live from the Spin Room in Houston, where there's going to be a lot of action, is our friend and colleague, the Reverend Al Sharpton, host of Politics Nation, president of the National Action Network. But that's not all. On a night like tonight, we remember also a former presidential candidate who, my own personal opinion, was pretty good when he was on that debate stage in 2004. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Ari. I love you, too.
Well, I'm glad it's mutual. As you know, Rev, because you do your work in New York as well as elsewhere, on the Jewish holiday of Passover, we always ask, why is this night different than other nights? And tonight's debate seems different than all the other ones. Go ahead. It's smaller, and it's this clash. What do you think?
I think it's different for many reasons. One, it is small. It's the first time we're going to see the 10 top candidates that qualified and in one night. And we're going to see Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren on the same stage for the first time. And there are policy clashes. We're also going to see how those that are polling lower, are they going to try and do something that will make their presence felt and go after either Biden. And a big question around here is whether anyone goes after Elizabeth Warren, because she has not been attacked policy-wise or otherwise. So it's a lot of electricity in the air, and I think that a lot of people are going to be watching to see what happens. The real problem is that we're at a college, a university, a HBCU, which I'm happy about, and you've got to, as someone that was on that stage in 2004, you have to realize that you're not talking just to the audience, you're talking to millions of people. Yeah. And if you play to the audience, you may lose a lot of the people that are watching.
Well, it's a great point. And as I mentioned, something you understand because of being on the stage and the dynamics of that, the pressure and all the different layers. I'm curious what you think about how Joe Biden, who may not be the front runner, no one really knows, but is certainly a very famous person on the stage, how he takes a punch, because we talk so much about who can do the attack and get themselves in. But a lot of the great debaters, certainly Obama, they really knew how to take a punch and not get rattled and keep on their message. I wonder if you think Joe Biden struggled with that before and how that plays into tonight, where he's still a famous target.
I think we have seen him rattled a little when Senator Kamala Harris went after him on busing. I think the second debate, he did not seem as rattled. But a boxing champion once told me you choose a champion by who can take a punch, not just throw one. And I think the risk is if that people start throwing too many punches, they can turn what could be a contender that seems to be off into a martyr. You don't want to look like you just came to beat up on Joe Biden. So you've got to be able to thread that needle so where you can say, I have something to say. This is my policies. I'm not just here to beat up on somebody, because the overwhelming majority of Democrats want to defeat Trump. And though they want to know the difference between the candidates, they don't want to see the candidates fighting each other to the point that they feel is going to help the incumbent president.
Yeah, and I want to ask you one more thing that's been a scuttlebutt about Elizabeth Warren. I'm sure you remember the great group Outkast, and to paraphrase them when they said, I know you like to think your campaign don't stink, but lean a little bit closer. Fair or not, that's the kind of attack she's getting from some Democratic establishment figures. And you've been down this road when people go into the fundraising and they take their hits. Take a look at what the former chairman of the Democratic Party is saying. Of course, he's endorsed her competitor, but he says Warren transferred $10 million from her Senate campaign to the presidential one. $6 million came from those big contributions, 1,000 and up, and arguing the senator appears to be trying to have it both ways. Get the upside from eschewing donations from the high-level donors while then using that money in 2018. Do you think she needs to address that, and is that a strong hit, or does that look desperate because Elizabeth Warren, to many voters, seems like one of the cleaner candidates who avoids the big money?
I think there's clearly the image that she's been among the cleanest we've seen, but she's going to have to address it so it doesn't look like she's ducking it. As she has now grown in the polls, she's been the only one that has advanced every poll just about. She's going to have to get used to the fact she becomes a target, and she is definitely going to face scrutiny she didn't face before. And if you can't take that scrutiny and answer it in a succinct way and an effective way, then you can begin to erode. And I don't think she's been in that position yet. We're going to see it continue to have that kind of scrutiny if, in fact, she continues to have this growing support. And I know I've been controversial. I didn't get a lot of scrutiny until I started doing Ari Melba's show.
That's when it all came. You know, people say, Rev, throughout your life, you've never been controversial until now.
Till now. It's all under beat. If I hadn't done the beat, they'd have let me just do what I do.
There, put the word out. Rev, I appreciate the serious analysis and always fun talking to you. And tonight, I'm going to tell MSNBC viewers they can get the debate coverage and more Rev Sharpton after the debate tonight on MSNBC. Have fun tonight, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.